Trisha, she also advertised herself in the erotic services section on Craigslist, though Julissa was offering massage services for extra money. Extra money due to it being extremely hard to make money as a beginning model, actress, or just being in that entertainment business. Her family and detectives say she wasn't a prostitute. She was genuinely giving amateur massages. She was staying at the Copley Marriott Hotel in Boston, Massachusetts, and eventually Philip arrives at her hotel room. The story I'm about to tell you is from police, because sadly there's no one to tell the story how it actually happened. Police believe that he immediately pulled the gun on her once he entered the room, got at least one plastic tie on her wrist. She fought back, and things escalated quickly. He pistol whipped her on the head and then shot her 4 times. Police say he didn't have to kill her. She had no weapons, and he was a way bigger person. And when he fled the scene, her body leaned against the main hotel door, and half of her dead body could be seen by anyone in the hallways. A woman that was staying next door said she heard a commotion down the hall. Eventually, she peeked her head out the door and saw a woman who was half in and half out of the doorway. She immediately called security, and the security called the police. So keep in mind, Trisha's robbery happened in April 10th, 2009, and then this murder happened April 14th, 2009, so just 4 days later. And now, 2 days after that, April 16th, 2009. 2 days after the murder of Julissa Brisman, Cynthia Melton was Markov's third and final victim. Cynthia was an exotic dancer at the time and was also advertising herself on Craigslist, saying she'll give private lap dances for $200 to anyone in her hotel room. She explained that unlike the other cases, Philip was nervous, and when he pointed the pistol at her, his hand was shaking. He said, "I'm broke. I don't want to kill you. I just want cards or money." So he zip-tied her down while he searched her room. Her phone rang, but he ignored it. And then it rang again and again. The calls were coming from her business manager and husband. Her husband was aware that she provided these services and was okay with it, and was most likely playing the role of a pimp. Someone that just makes sure that the girls are okay and they don't get scammed.
That sounds like Craigslist.
That's why the pimp is there, right? You don't pull up. She was supposed to give her business manager a signal to show that she was safe. When he didn't get the signal, he began calling her non-stop. Suddenly, Cynthia's husband opens the room door because he had an extra key, and Philip instantly points the gun at him. The husband starts running down the hall, presumably to get help, and Philip begins escaping down the other side of the same hallway. So in that situation, no one died, but the only girl that did die was Julie Brisman. Rest in peace to her. I mean, it's obvious that this dude was only going on Craigslist to find vulnerable girls. Getting caught. One of Julis's friends found the email that Philip and Julissa had exchanged, and contacted authorities, explained that she had his IP address. Detectives traced the IP to an apartment belonging to Philip Markov, a 23-year-old med student at Boston University. He had a fiance at the time who knew nothing about what he was up to on Craigslist. He was arrested shortly after. During trial, he pleaded not guilty, which was dumb because detectives found the gun he used to murder Julissa in his room with his fingerprints on it.
Oh, circumstantial evidence.
Was in prison. Markov made several attempts while at the Nashua Street jail. One attempt was made 3 days after his arrest, an additional attempt after his fiancée broke up with him, and another attempt on the day his wedding was to have taken place. At various times, he was on security watch or in the jail psychiatric unit. On August 15, 2010, 1 year and 1 day after his wedding would have taken place, Markov was found dead in his cell. He had used a knife made from a pen and a piece of metal to cut arteries in his ankles, legs, and neck.
Jesus, goddamn!
And tied in a plastic bag over his head with gauze. Additionally,
this dude did 8 different suicides.
And their pet names for each other, and photographs of them two were scattered about. So yeah, sadly, Julissa did die, and the other girls did have a traumatic experience. This dude killed himself in the jail, which would have been a happy ending, but sadly he had to kill another. He had to kill a girl, right? Move on to the next one.
God damn. So, that's like 8 different ways of killing himself. My God, he used every ounce of that med student knowledge. Jesus. I imagine this had to be during like the height of Craigslist. I remember back in, God, it must have been high school. When was the big Craigslist killer that got a lot of press? I think it was high school. And when that happened, everyone was like, yeah, it sounds about right for Craigslist. God, that's gotta be the riskiest shit ever. Why? Bro, just fucking like pass out flyers at a gas station or something. You're a lot better off. Because even in high school, all of us were like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what you'd expect from Craigslist services. Just a bunch of fucking psychopaths. I don't know why you would trust that. It's terrible. It's scary. I use it for cars. Well, yeah, you can buy shit from Craigslist, man. I don't think you're gonna run into a guy who's gonna, like, fuck your shit up over a beat-up bug or anything. Like, you can probably buy cars if you want. I'm talking about the services category. Naivety, mostly? I don't know, though. I don't know about that. I think it's probably just convenience, mostly. Because it's a lot less work to just put up an ad like, I'll touch your butt for $200 on Craigslist. It's a lot less work to do that as opposed to like marketing that somewhere else. You just leave that shit stand up there forever. Then eventually someone reaches out, but you don't want that person. It's very scary. Like, I can't imagine this shit is uncommon. It's just sometimes they don't get as much press as others.
Anne-Marie Linscott. In November 2007,
Why does that name
three
sound so
California
familiar?
residents were searching Craigslist for job opportunities, and they exchanged emails with a woman named Anne-Marie Linscott regarding a job opportunity she was advertising on the website. The
Brand
job
Fossil.
description was advertised as quote-unquote freelance, with no further information provided. During the email exchange, Linscott, who was a Michigan resident, asked each of the three individuals responding to her advertisement to quote-unquote eradicate a woman living in Oroville, California.
the
Yes,
fuck?
she put up a hitman ad on Craigslist. She provided
What a
additional information on
big
the
word
intended
for that,
victim, including a
eradicate.
description of the victim,
That's not just
her
like
age,
kill
and
or...
her
Rowan, to positions!
That's big.
To now, Commander.
eradication task. The three individuals reported that to police as
Wars in! Full sail!
that random woman that she wanted dead wasn't actually so random. Anne-Marie
Sails up! Now! More oars! Full speed!
of course, keeping it as secretive as possible. In 2007,
Forward! We're at full speed! Rowan, slow down!
The commander's leaving the helm.
Molotov cocktail time bomb?
assassins to eradicate a 56-year-old woman from Oroville named Carol. The price, $5,000. She made sure to emphasize that this was a very serious job and not fake. She also explained how the amateur hitman would have all their expenses paid on top of it. Her only fear was having the murder traced back to her. Well, you should have thought about that before trying to hire a hitman on an extremely popular public website. Anne-Marie, you should watch these videos right here. You really want to hire a hitman. I mean, videos talking about it. That was a joke.
True, he does give
You
like
should go watch
tutorials,
those
I
videos,
guess.
And also watch Dangerous World of Fortune Criminals. So those three people that engaged in
As you
ads,
said,
told
Pika
authorities,
and
then the
Kobe.
authorities got the FBI involved. They confronted her with copies of the details of the hitman ad, and when asked about what she meant by the word eradicate, she said, and I quote, "Duh, well, to have her killed. Looks like she's very smart." In 2009, Anne-Marie Linscott was sentenced to 151 months in prison, aka 12 and a half years. That means she was released last year in 2021.
What is she doing now, I wonder if she's out?
Jason
Let's take a peek. Anne-Marie Linscott. Maybe she's like a streamer or something. Alright, what are we looking at? I'm guessing this is her. Just now working at a normal place. Damn. Underwhelming. Kinda anticlimactic. Probably too old to be public. The stories are still public. 2009, all those articles and everything still exist. What do you mean? She makes NFTs now. Wouldn't be surprised. She does seem to have a pretty good grip on technology.
Brown. Jason Brown was a 25-year-old man in 2014
Here's
and
the
was
Brown.
trying to drill out of adopted
Mister,
dogs that
they
were
give some
homes
hunter.
and torturing them to death. I won't be getting into details on
Jesus
how
Christ.
he tortured these dogs. This story is a lot like the cat killer, which we've talked about before. So how was James Brown caught? He was staying at a motel and a maid had knocked on the door to check on him days later, but no one answered. She then unlocked the door to clean the room and found blood stains, dog bones, drug paraphernalia. She then called the manager, who found a decapitated brown dog in the bathtub, and called the Reno police. While the manager waited for the police to arrive, Brown had returned to the room and fled. Not
I
only
don't
did he
want
kill
to be
innocent
spotted
dogs that were
here.
just looking for a home on Craigslist, but he recorded everything. The recordings were only seen by the judge, the lawyers, and the detective. But in the video, Brown could be heard saying that this was his and he wanted to turn them into his fur coats. Brown is heard saying in one of the recordings that he found dogs through Craigslist and looked for, quote, pets free on the ads. So he would just go on the search term, free pets, right? People that had responded to Brown's request through Craigslist
God, that's so
testified that he
fucked.
seemed like a normal guy. They were seen sobbing in the courtroom. That he couldn't remember committing the acts because he was injecting heroin, amphetamine, and cocaine during a month-long binge. The recordings were taken by Brown as a
Oh, then he can't be held accountable.
Jason Brown was sentenced to 25 years.
Hey,
I know
fuck
what
yeah.
You guys just said. You said, that's it? Yeah, I know, right? I don't know either. This fucker deserves life in prison.
That's so much more than I thought it would be. Usually animal crimes are like days in prison. So that's huge. Like that's big in that world. Typically like, we watched the video not long ago. Oh, a better example. The YouTube cat killer, the guy that murdered cats on video and used to just post them freely on YouTube. That guy only saw jail for like a day. I don't even know if he saw jail. I'm just assuming because I don't remember now. But like, that shit does not carry hefty sentences usually. So at least that guy got a fat one. I still haven't seen Don't Fuck With Cats. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the YouTuber. I even made a video on him like a year or whatever ago. I forgot his name. Pollution, I think. Yeah, that's what, Pollution. That kid, like, he wasn't in jail for any length of time at all. I always think that someone that's like murdering and decapitating and bathing in the blood of animals and whatever always deserves heftier penalties in prison because there's such a strong correlation with that behavior and becoming a real serial killer. So like someone like Pollution Entertainment, that guy should still be in jail for a long time. I don't know why they're so lenient on it. Luke Magnotta got his victim from Craigslist as well. Jesus Christ, really?
He is. Okay, so everyone has them. I think everyone thinks. Well, we're talking about R-word, R-word, as in R-A-P-E. I think I might have censored that too. Which is, you guys should know. People that like to roleplay consensual non-consent with safety, obviously. Not your
Gooey juice.
So men would go on Craigslist and ask around if any women wanted to volunteer. Some of these ads appear on Craigslist in 2016 in Southern California. A woman identified as Angela Diaz responded. She sent them photos of herself and details about the routine, telling some men that she wanted them to engage in R-word play, even if she screamed or resisted. And so the men began showing up at her condo. On one occasion, she even called the police and said they attempted R-word. The officers came by and saw visible redness and bruises on her neck. She even had to break her rib. So you're probably wondering, why did she call the cops if she wanted R-word played? I mean, she responded to the message. Well, someone set her up. Yeah, someone else pretended to be her and put pictures of her on Craigslist and said, hey, that's me, here's my address. You can do anything, even if I scream or resist. Yeah, but wait, keep listening.
God damn.
Crazy.
That's like a Sam Pepper prank.
He told them that they were actually posted by someone posing as her. They later found out was her husband's ex-wife, Michelle Hatter. Charged with multiple felonies, including criminal threats and attempted forgery. Basically, life sentence in prison for 2 months later. She found out that no, innocent. She never said a word. You set up a never believed. Angela set herself up on purpose to try to make it seem like Hallie. Yeah,
What the fuck?
herself to be R-worded just so it could happen, and then be like, oh man, I know who it was. It was this person. She was so deep into this that she literally got into her email, Hadley's email, and was sending herself threats.
That's the shark's tooth, all right.
Bro, I don't know. So
Oh
What's
my
left of her?
god.
Angela wanted to do that to herself just to get her in trouble. I thought we had seen the most when we talked about 4chan, right? But like, people on Craigslist are crazy, bro. The people on Craigslist.
Looks like sharks got the whole crew.
Arrested and faced felony charges, including kidnapping, false imprisonment by menace, fraud or deceit, perjury, grand theft, and forgery. Honestly, I'm just one off with don't do that. Don't go on Craigslist. Actually, don't go on Craigslist. What am I saying? Craigslist, my mom uses it. I think it's not for stuff like this, but she's like, I don't know.
To be fair, I don't use Craigslist either. It's not for me. I've never found anything good off Craigslist.
In 2014, Haley Turner, which was 18, pleaded guilty to felony charges of causing a false police report to be filed. She claimed she was abducted on August 7th, just north of Ohio, in Bedford Township, and held hostage for 16 hours. But the whole thing was a lie. Turner was reported
Great
missing
deal on
that
used
night.
furniture.
Police say she called her
I've never used it for furniture.
on a man
I've used the same furniture for like 10 years now.
Seconds later, police said Turner told her friend, quote, he has a gun, and the phone was disconnected. The following day, a local resident spotted Turner standing at a corner in Escos, near Detroit. Within the public, the Good Samaritan called 911 to jump from a moving vehicle
Some
and escape
Blasto.
her captor. Police, however, did not believe Turner's story. She later confessed that she concocted the kidnapping, telling a Monroe County judge that she posted a Craigslist notice stating that it was an 18-year-old girl, quote, looking to be kidnapped and taken away. It was not revealed in the court what her motives were, but other Craigslist posts indicated that she just wanted attention and that it could, quote, be fun. A police investigation revealed that a man did respond to the ad, but that man has not been identified. So she wasn't sent to prison since she was under 61. She just had to pay a fine of $15,000, and I think she did
This fits the description of Yiki's armband.
no gender stuff, no gender, no arguments, alright? But like, 'cause we're dumb, bro. My friends and I, we're dumb, we're stupid, we do dumb stuff. And I always tell them, damn, girls are so smart, I love them. And then I hear stories like this, I'm like, what the fuck?
She just needs therapy.
Yeah. I love you. I'm just saying, like any other human, y'all can love. Like any other gender, y'all can love. Any other person, y'all can love.
That Angela story has so many fucking twists and turns. Jesus Christ. Nice. I put some lights in these shelves over here and they look pretty bright on camera. It looks like a flashbang went off behind me. That's what I imagine it looks like when an angel comes down from heaven. It's like a sterilization chamber in a laboratory, my god. But anyway, today I wanted to do a little check-in on our good friend, the Russian Popeye, aka Bazooka Arms, aka the Saint of Synthol, or as I like to call him, the Petroleum Jelly Juggernaut. I'm talking about Kirill. Kirill is a man who's been in the public eye for about 2-3 years now because he injects petroleum jelly into his biceps, and he gave himself these SpongeBob anchor arm looking things. And he's not the only one in the world to do this. It's called synthol, and what they do is they inject it into whatever muscles they want to bubble up and look like a badly drawn anime character. And it's just a bunch of oil in a syringe. They inject it and it blocks blood flow and it like inflates the muscle like a balloon. And it's extremely dangerous. A lot of people have died from it, and Kirill's no exception. In fact, 2 years ago, he had to undergo life-saving surgery in order to drain his biceps because they were killing him. And I wanted to do a little check-in because I remembered reading about that, and I wanted to see where he was today. And would you believe it? He's back to using fucking synthol and petroleum jelly to pop up his muscles for the sake of TikTok. It just seems like TikTok likes are more addicting than heroin, and worth losing your life over. Kirill is once again risking his life for the sake of his goofy fucking biceps because of the attention they garner online from people laughing at him. He has made his entire career online being laughed at. Most of you may remember Kirill from the slapping tournament from a while back where he went up against Vasily Kamatsky and got absolutely blasted and banished to the Shadow Realm. You also might recognize him from his lackluster MMA debut where he fought someone named the Old Man twice and lost both times in a pretty humiliating fashion. He's also had numerous other videos made about him and why he continues to eject. He does it because he likes it. He likes his biceps being that way. It's his entire personality. There's more jelly in this man's body than there is in a fruit gusher. And he won't stop, it seems, even after having to undergo multiple life-saving surgical procedures in order to stabilize him. He is still continuing to use to this day. In fact, he posted on TikTok just 4 hours ago. I'm gonna have to not play the original audio here because of DMCA, so just a heads up, I might just put like 2019 guy instrumental on it or something. Yeah, it's not only his biceps that have undergone enhancements, and I'm using that word really generously, but he's also begun having plastic surgery on his face, and so he's been getting like facial injections that he's showing off online now. But he has fully gone back to injecting into his biceps, and they seem to be just as big, if not even a little bigger than they used to be. Honestly, that little groove that he's doing right there, that little boot scootin' boogie, it's syncing up nicely to the 2019 Guy song, so I actually think this is an improvement to the original video. But yeah, so as you can see, he's fully back in the swing of injecting his arms with synthol, petroleum jelly, whatever, for TikTok views and Instagram views, of course. His Instagram is a lot of just like making out with girls or like having a girl on top of him as he squeezes her ass or something to prove that he has sex. I don't really get it, but yeah. His arms once again look like Ed, Edd n Eddy when they put a jawbreaker in their mouth. And it's kind of sad because he almost died from this. His life was saved and he's just going right back to what almost killed him. One thing I've never understood about his online branding is he calls himself Bazooka Hands. Like his TikTok is Bazooka Hands. But his hands are normal sized, it's his biceps, so why not Bazooka Biceps? Or even just Bazooka Arms? Why hands? His hands are the only thing on his body that don't seem modified at the moment. So I just feel like maybe there was like a language barrier there or something, but it doesn't really work. The name doesn't match what you get. When I hear Bazooka Hands, I'm expecting like fucking lunchbox-sized bear claws, not normal boy hands plus Popeye arms, which is why people call him Russian Popeye, because it looks like Popeye after he gets his spinach. So I don't know why he settled on Bazooka Hands for his online handles. I just think that was a bit of a misstep. But I'm not his PR agent, you know. I'm not here to really, you know, nitpick it so much, but just a little confusion there. As for all of the facial modifications he's undergone, I don't exactly know when that happened because it kind of just came out of nowhere. I wasn't following Instagram. So I guess at some point he decided that the biceps weren't enough. He wants to continue to mod his whole body. And I don't know how he's doing the facial stuff, if that's under the supervision of a professional plastic surgeon or if he's, again, just taking matters into his own hands and using old trusty petroleum jelly. I hope not, because that'd be awful, like even more awful to inject petroleum jelly directly into your fucking face, but who knows? He has a history of abusing these kind of substances, and it's just honestly sad to see him get right back on the saddle and put his life in jeopardy just for the sake of more internet attention. It's a real shame. And I think this is like an actual case of a mental illness, being addicted either to the attention or to like the appearance of the big biceps. Even though they're literally killing him, he doesn't care, it seems. Which is odd because when they interviewed him when getting his life-saving surgery, it seemed like there was a level of self-awareness where he was like, yeah, it's pretty stupid to start doing this when I was 20. I really hope, you know, all the surgeries go well and this and that. And then, you know, fast forward not even 2 full years later and he's right back to doing the same thing. So it's just an unfortunate circumstance. One thing that stood out to me about his TikTok more so than in his past is it seems like he has even less mobility of his arms than he used to. Because even when he was doing slapping, even when he was doing those other videos, it still seemed like he could move his arms around like when he was in his fight, he could like throw punches. He even got into an arm bar in one of them, and while it looked like his bicep was about to burst like a fucking fish, it still had like mobility to it. And all of these TikToks, he has such a limited range of motion. Which is obvious when you look at the size of his biceps and also knowing the history of already having surgery to save the arm in the first place and save his life. It's getting worse, it seems. And the arms also look worse this time around, like they look more unhealthy and more like dead and swollen and red. Like it just feels a lot more catastrophic this time around. Because it probably is. I imagine after having his arm drained, he maybe overcompensated even more so with like additional jelly injections and like double or tripled his usual amount or something in order to get back to where he was prior to the surgeries. I'm just spitballing here and speculating, but it actually does seem like he's in a worse state now. noticed in a lot of his TikToks that made me feel even worse for him is he treats himself like he's a circus freak performer, where he'll go towards the camera and like jiggle his like biceps around in order to try and make it like a shock thing, I believe, because they look like diseased. Like the biceps, they look like they're about to fall off at any moment. It looks like he's smuggling rocks under his arm. It just doesn't look normal, and I'm sure he knows that, which is why he takes it right to the camera and gets like all up in close on like all of the dead skin and all of that. I don't know, it's just really upsetting because, like I said, I remember reading when he had his arm trained, and I would have assumed he'd turn his life around from there, getting a new lease on life, a second chance, but instead all he did was go back to the exact same routine and the exact same set of circumstances that landed him in a life-risking situation to begin with. So yeah, I just want to do a little checkup here. Unfortunately, not exactly a happy ending to it, but hopefully his arms will get drained again and he'll survive and finally learn his lesson. Who knows? But anyway, that's about it. So yeah. Habbo Hotel was the best place to do a little trolling. That's a classic. Pool's closed and all that. So good. Like, I don't even know what the actual game was. I just remember going on there to fuck with people. And I feel like that's what everyone did. I don't think there was a game there.
Hotel is a self-described virtual community for teens. At its peak in 2012, it had customers from 150 different countries, had 273 million registered users, and saw 5 million unique visitors every month. Habbo was essentially Club Penguin for teenagers. You could visit places, chat to people, play games, and make your own rooms.
You could play games in here?
There is one thing that dominates all
That's news
aspects
to me.
of Habbo life. Coins. Coins could buy you the latest furniture, the nicest clothing, and Habbo Club, a form of premium membership to distinguish you from the peasants. The issue with coins is that they can't be obtained through normal gameplay. You have to buy them with real-life money. This means that coins have actual monetary value, and some players have sold their virtual currency for thousands of dollars. With the prospect to make actual real-life money, Habbo turned from a glorified chat room to a terrifying experiment of anarcho-capitalism done on teenagers and adolescents.
I didn't remember that.
Anarcho-capitalist
kind of like RuneScape
societies
gold
can
selling?
generally be characterized by 3 main points, and Habbo ticks all of the boxes. 1. Anarcho-capitalist societies are anarchies, which means that there is no central government control. In 2012, Habbo employed 225 moderators worldwide. Now, there are 0 moderators. All of them have been replaced by artificial intelligence, which only serves to censor bad words. The lack of any real moderation has led to the proliferation of scams and illegal casinos throughout the hotel.
Real casinos?
The second characteristic of an
Maybe they'll sponsor Steve, we'll do it next.
Capitalism, which by
Aiden Roscoe's on stream. Hey guys, you heard of Habbo Hotel gambling?
Is controlled by private owners for profit rather than the state. Habbo is defined by capitalism. Coins will never be given out by Habbo unless they are purchased. Trading is a key aspect within the game, and it isn't regulated or moderated. And finally, the last characteristic of anarcho-capitalist societies is that they are a
mecca for pedophiles.
Was there a big pedophile problem on Habbo Hotels?
These conditions have led Habbo to turn into an emulation of a free market capitalistic and materialistic society. Their adolescent and teenage players end up turning into ruthless capitalists in order to survive. New players who join Habbo Hotel start off with 0 coins. The only way for players to get coins are to either pay for them or to get them from someone else. Giveaways are the breadlines of Habbo. In the absence of government, the privatized welfare state steps in. Giveaways are events where rich habos donate furniture and coins to peasants in need. You may be tempted to think that this charity is altruism at work. It isn't. This is an example of a giveaway. You may be confused as to why there
Join
are
my free gift
fast-pass
card
queues in
giveaway.
a giveaway like the ones found in theme parks. This isn't unusual. When there is no regulation or moderation,
I like that this
people
guy's
are free to call
grooving.
whatever they want as giveaways.
That's a classic.
In reality,
it's good.
this is a for-profit game. In order to win coins, you first need to roll a 6 in the dice. Next, you need to teleport to one of these green areas, which you have a 33.3% chance of doing.
Pretty good.
Finally, you need to pull a switch, which, assuming is not rigged, has a 50% chance of failure. Assuming you do all of that, you win the grand prize of 1 coin. Now, you could risk it. Pull the second switch, which, assuming is not rigged, has another 50% chance of failure. That would bag you the grand prize of 2 coins. Crunching the numbers,
Damn, this-
you
who-
only
they're
have
cruising!
a 2.78% chance of winning 1 coin. The chance of winning the jackpot of 50 coins, that's a 0.022% chance.
I like those
Now
odds.
remember that I mentioned FastPass
We
earlier.
win those.
In these types of quote-unquote giveaways, the owner usually sells a FastPass, which allows you to skip the long peasant queue and gives you slightly more favourable odds. But like a casino, these odds are stacked against you, and chances are
Exit
you
tier
will
1
not
major
make your money back.
Bobo.
And once
and
the
the
owner
Reese of
sells
Ice
the
Cake.
fast passes for the day, they shut down the giveaway.
The
And they
bits
open a new
skill.
one,
They're still.
under a new name, where you have to buy a new fast pass. No refunds given. But those aren't the only types of giveaways. There are other forms, such as radio giveaways, where players are forced to listen to a radio operated by a fan site.
Hello everyone, this is DJ Danny, and this is how requested.
What the fuck is this? Alright.
I found your ship.
And?
Classic.
Come on
Yeah.
now, where are they? Where's my Hiki?
I really
Oh,
don't
come
know
on
how
now.
to tell you
Someone
this.
request from
Oh,
Danny.
for fuck's sake. Sus could have impregnated the whole
Let's heart
of
that shit.
Athens by the time it takes
Uh.
you to say anything.
We're
Where are
live.
they?
The DJ
They're dead,
periodically
alright?
tells the
And
viewers
your ship's
the
gone too.
special key
Oh,
word that is
my
required
Yiki.
before you can
All I
collect your
found is
duck
her
or whatever
armor.
the DJ feels like giving to you.
Yiki.
This, of course, boosts traffic
Suppose
for
I'm
the
not
fan
much of a
site, so
captain
they're
now.
earning money too.
Can't be a captain
Real life
without
money,
a ship.
that is.
Makes me some boot.
Then
can offer
there
you a
are
place on my crew.
Leavers giveaways.
I know it's
Leavers
not like having
giveaways
your
are
own
run by
ship,
rich
but
habos who are no
you'll be
longer
part of the
interested
family.
in the game. These type of
Well,
giveaways usually
I'd rather
attract
be
the
at
most
sea than
attention,
stuck
and
here
these
with these
habos
pious
could be
idiots.
extremely generous,
You got yourself a deal.
or they could
Just
be
till I'm
trolls.
back on my feet.
In the absence of moderation,
Now,
there's nothing
where's
you
your
can do about
boat?
it.
Ship?
Yeah, like who are you gonna call?
called the
Better
Everest,
Business
yeah.
Bureau for
Whatever
Habbo
you
hotel
say,
scams?
Captain.
What are you gonna do,
Corporations
nerd?
dominate every facet
Pool is
of Habbo
closed.
Hotel. They have a special name: agencies. In return for working in their corporation, you get paid coins. The amount each agency pays differs depending on pay policy, and like corporations in real life, agencies have tried to attract players in many ways.
I don't wanna get DMCA'd from fucking Habbo Hotel. Jesus Christ. I didn't know about any of this shit. I just go into a lobby and say like, hey guys, fuck you.
Welcome to the United Nations, the most innovative agency in Habbo Hotel.
We do things differently, starting with getting great pay and rank rewards for work.
But the modus operandi of all agencies is the same.
There's a bit
People
scared.
get paid to recruit others, so let's run it down. First, a new player like you heads up to the front desk to apply for a job. You are given a nice shiny badge, a new motto which displays your rank
Looks
within
cool,
the
looks
agency,
cool.
and a hideous uniform.
Oh,
You're then ushered
looks
into a
great.
training room where your training begins. You're taught to obey commands given to you by higher ranks. Disobedience will not be tolerated and you will be fired for doing so. You are then given a set of rules, like wear your uniform, no coloured chat,
Wait, hold on, let me
and
check out these rules real quick. God damn it. Any form of harassment, bullying, or abuse will not be tolerated. Effects are prohibited other than when permitted by the Foundation. Dancing is only permitted in the VIP area of the base. Colored chat is prohibited until you reach 5 IC. Do not ask for pay, promotion, or other benefits. What the fuck am I working there for? Wait, don't ask for pay? What the fuck am I doing working here at the goddamn Men in Black Society? What? What do you mean? Do not double job or self-promote. And always be respectful to yourself and others. What is rule 4?
Chat, and never ask for pay or promotions ever. There are no workers' rights in Habbo. There are no trade unions in
True,
Habbo.
yeah, no
There is
unions.
no safety net or employment protection in Habbo. You are told to comply or be sacked. After that, you are taught how to hire new people and work in the front desk. Help others begin their career in the same way someone started yours.
Why? I can't believe this shit existed. Imagine coming home after a hard day of school and then going to your Habbo hotel job working the front desk at a fucking pyramid scheme recruitment facility. Well, how is this popular? This is mind-blowing to me. I had no clue. I thought the only thing people used Habbo for was the same shit me and my friends did. We go on there, we go in like one of their like open lobbies, we'll dance and say, "Fuck you, idiots," as our characters grooving. Like that's it, you know. I didn't know it went deeper than that.
After that indoctrination session, you are told to begin to recruit new people. As you start pouring hours into working, you begin to be promoted into higher ranks. Higher ranks give you privileges, like working in easier jobs like security or training, or the privilege to stop wearing that hideous uniform, or to be able to use colored chat. This system of promotions end up cementing your loyalty to the agency and make you spend even more hours in it. Wages can be meager. Agencies usually advertise that they pay £6
Do we have any
an hour or
retired
61
Habbo
coins a week,
workers?
but in reality the peasants only get paid 1 coin an hour, and pay is only given at certain designated pay times. After getting paid, you're told to continue working and are threatened to get pay banned if you don't follow their pay policy. With such low wages, people begin to work in agencies for hours to even get enough coins for some decent furniture for their rooms. Habbo no longer becomes a game. Instead, it becomes a medium for your daily commute to work in an agency that pays you little and demands your obedience.
You
But
play a
of course,
game
pay
where
is
you're just
still
an
pay.
abused
1
worker.
coin an hour may seem little, but if you're the owner of an agency, having an agency staffed by dozens of workers on minimum wage can still be taxing. So how do agencies make money? The answer lies in power. The obedience demanded by corporations on its workers are no accident. People enjoy telling others what to do. Agencies run on a very simple hierarchical structure, where the owners boss around the directors, who boss around the managers, who boss around the peasants. Rich Habbos are willing to pay thousands of coins in order to become high-ranking agents, so they can tell the peasants what to do.
So you get to
Power
buy your
itself
position? Hold on, I want to see the going rates here. So it's not so different after all, eh? This looks like some kind of cult organization here, like a nefarious, evil organization. Like, this logo does not inspire confidence. It immediately makes me think of, like, war crimes. So for an agent rep, which seems to be the lowest on the totem pole here, 3,100 coins. That seems like a lot. Okay, let me look up how much a pack of coins was on Habbo Hotel. Let's see what the coin prices were. For $64, you get 7 coins. No fucking way that's right. What? I must be looking at that wrong. Hold on, that's definitely not reliable.
Ready to die!
I just want to see what like the bundle price is, because that's where the coins came from. You buy them with real money. Why am I having such a hard time finding this? Is that right in the chat? 45 coins for $5? website is still up. Oh, I can just check here. Oh, this is just club membership. Where's coins? Oh, here we go, here we go. You get 20 credits, which is their coins, for $3. So 630 credits, which is their highest offer, is $75. So $75 for 630, and the lowest position here is 3100. That's a lot. that's pretty significant. Holy shit.
Go on, yeah.
No, it's 3100, not 31,000. You're misreading it. It's 3,100 coin. So then the top position of 4,500 coin. I think it's $675 for the first tier. Let's see. Do some basic math here.
I think it's unwise for a man to revere the dios.
Yeah.
He angered Zeus
I was
and
wrong.
the other gods after
Hold
all.
on, let me do all of it. Okay. $375 for the lowest tier, and the highest tier is about 500-ish. So you pay $500 to be a BOE assistant leader, and
Come on.
$375 to be on the lowest end. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot. Exit Prime, Icy, and the resub White Wolf. Thank you, Subyoshi. It was oh, are you a survivor of the Habbo agencies? It was structured like a military, and there were pages and pages of guidelines which we had to follow. My God. Well, you're lucky you had the privilege of working here at what is this, Axel or AL?
To pay thousands of coins in order to become high-ranking officials so they can tell the peasants what to do. Power sells, and the agencies know this. And so, notice how there are two sets of uniforms in this agency. One looks decent, and the other looks like a school PE kit. This is because Habbo's premium
look very
Habbo
good.
Club is needed to wear certain items of clothing. Clothing that doesn't make you look like a complete hobo. Habbo doesn't
That looks like the
just
shit they wear in
allow
the Squid
classism
Game.
within its users. It promotes it. Gambling used to be legal in Habbo. Casinos were a commonplace feature of the game. Pre-2014, the Habbo economy flourished. Rare items were being traded at high prices, which were used to decorate the
Paradise.
casinos.
Let's
Then
go.
the Danish Ministry of Taxation caught on and told Habbo to stop letting miners spend real-life money on coins to gamble them away, because child gambling is illegal. This prompted Habbo
It's
to
not
own
illegal anymore,
gambling,
baby.
but shut down Habbo's largest
We
casino
love that
and
shit
banned
now.
their owners. This single event has been attributed to Habbo's decline. The gambling ban led to the crash of the stock market. Values of rare items plummeted as they turned out to be pretty much useless for anything other than decorating casinos, and this
Whoa,
hit
what the
Habbo
fuck?
hard. Revenues
That
from
was a
coin sales
wild
dropped,
layout.
and Habbo ended up having to lay off their staff, leading to anarchy. But with the sacking of moderators, the underground casinos rose. People began to gamble the same way they did back in 2014. But with the gambling ban, Habbo instituted certain restrictions. You could no longer place more than 3 dice in a room. So people came up with ingenious solutions to overcome this ban. In the past, people played blackjack and poker with a set of 5 dice, but it's possible to adapt the game so it only requires 3. Furthermore, you can
This is
set it
so
so that
deep.
the room only has 3 dice, and that the dealers of the casino would simply share the dice around. Another solution people
Seems
came up
very
with
tedious.
was wired. Wired furniture was the redstone of Habbo. Wired took an input, and if certain conditions were met, gave an output. This allowed players to
What the
program
fuck is
things
this?
in their room and make impressive
Green Bay
things such
Packers
as
gambling in
automatic
here?
games. People used Wired to make random number generators which acted as dice. These pseudo-dice allowed casino owners to circumvent the dice ban. However, the issue with Wired is that only the owner of the room and those with special permissions granted by the owner could view its contents. It is possible to rig anything that involves Wired. There have been countless
Obviously.
stories of opportunistic casino owners rigging their pseudo-dice in their favour. Habbo's casino ban inadvertently led to the explosion of con games and scams. Casinos
yeah,
are still by far
fucking
the
obviously
profitable
it would.
venture of Habbo Hotel, but not necessarily the way you think it is. Sometimes the admins of Habbo log in. In the absence of moderators, casinos operate in broad daylight, but
Thanks for Prime.
periodically casinos
Testicles.
have been shut down by
Resub
these
Cyan.
admins and got their owners banned. So owning a casino is still a risky venture that few dare risk. Casino owners would sell dealer memberships at a high price, usually for hundreds of coins if not thousands. Usually owners would sell multiple tiers of memberships, with the dice sharing membership usually incurring a premium fee since in-game dice can't be rigged. Casino owners could sell hundreds of these memberships, and it isn't unusual to hear them earn tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of coins by selling them. That's equivalent to tens of thousands of US dollars. The risks outweigh the benefits. With no real moderation and a currency backed with real-life money, it is easy to see how Habbo turned into a virtual
Maybe a bit
experiment of
Spartalorian.
unregulated capitalism. Many players of the game are teenagers, and a sizable proportion of players are adolescent children. Most of them don't have a background in economics, yet the conditions of the game led to the emergence
But now they know how to
of ruthless
gamble,
capitalism
and that's
practices.
important.
In such a harsh environment, some chose to quit.
Oh,
Others decided
cowards.
to make their own communities,
Oh.
a much fairer one than the one Habbo offers. But that's a story for another time.
Exit Prime Azure. That was very interesting. I didn't know any of that about Habbo. How I made $200 daily playing Habbo Hotel. Oh my god. How the teenage players of Habbo Hotel turned to financial crime. Oh my god, how deep does it go? Okay, let me do this one first, and then I want to see this one. This is from the same guy, so I'm imagining this is a follow-up to this one, because it's more recent. I want to see this one first, though.
When you hear Habbo Hotel, you probably think about autistic kids role-playing, pedophiles hunting them,
Habbo Hotel.
Oh yeah, he
is
never
inhabited
touched on the
by
pedophiles in the last one.
and 4chan raids. Or maybe Quackity. I myself think about the game's
Maybe Tier
economy.
1 cricket.
The currency in Habbo is not obtainable through gameplay. You must
Thanks for 13,
purchase it
Elder.
with
Thanks a
real
long
money.
time of watching.
Habbo is basically the grandfather of microtransactions. They knew how to scam kids, and boy did they do it. Just listen to the lyrics in their latest promo video. It's basically subliminal messaging.
This is gonna be DMCA. That is pretty on the nose.
I remember reading in the newspaper about parents put in debt because their kids use the home phone to buy Habbo coins for tens of thousands of dollars. And obviously with the currency only being purchasable with real money, it had quite high real world trading value. Even today 1,000 coins is worth about $70. That's a lot better than some countries. In a game like that you could not trust anyone. There was no content, but to become wealthier, friends you knew for years would scam you if you gave them the opportunity. So how does one make money on Habbo, you ask? Well, there is obviously trading. Some of the furnitures on Habbo are worth up to thousands of dollars, so if you knew what you were doing, you could turn a profit like that. You could also swap money between Habbo and RuneScape with favorable ratios.
Really?
Buying 11 million RuneScape GP for 50 Habbo coins.
Is that deal still on the table? That's an incredible rate for gold on RuneScape. So we just looked it up. 50 Habbo coins was what? It was like, I think it was like, what, $5? $5 or $6? You get 11 mil for it? That's some crazy real-world trading ratios. Oh man.
And then selling 10 million Rune Escape GP for 50 Habo coins. But the biggest earners were gambling and scamming. The most common way of gambling is dice games. The player trades a bet to the host, who then trades twice the amount back.
That's, hold on, someone's correcting me. That's normal real-world trade price. I haven't kept up on real-world trading scams and all that recently. What is the going rate of gold all of a sudden? Let me see. SRS. There's so many gold sellers. I can probably just type in gold seller. Let me see. God, every single one of these has an ad next to it, so I know it's a fucking scam. Jesus Christ. It's a little less than $1 per mil. 65 cents per mil. At least on that one. So no, it looks like the Habo ratios were a little more favorable. What's wrong with ads? Whenever I don't trust it. When you go on Google and the first 3 or 4 results have ad next to it, I really think that they're all malware. Because anyone can pay for that to go right to the top. And I distinctly remember, I don't remember what software it was. It might have actually even been LimeWire, honestly. But I got a rough virus from clicking on one of the ads to download the software. Like, so anyone can put Trojans and shit, those kind of awful websites on there on like the first 3 results with ads. So I never trust it. I never click that. I just scroll beyond it.
If a player wins. But there was no rules on Habo against scamming. The host could basically just ban you from his room and keep the bet if he had lost. If the player were to report such an incident, he would just be told that you should not trust other people with your items, and that gambling is bad. To counter this issue,
I don't know why I keep pausing this to read some dumb shit. You peddle ads all the time from the same company, hypocrite. Are you stupid? Like, have you ever used Google? Or do you have like a parental lock on your computer? So if you go to Google, here, I bet RuneLite still has this. There used to be a, no, they took it down. When you went to Google and did RuneLite, the first thing had an ad there and it was a virus. What's something else that always has ads at the top of a Google search? You have ad block on? No, it doesn't get rid of this. Give me something else. How about this? Crypto casino. This shit. When it has ad. I don't know how dumb you are to think that like a Twitch ad is the same as this. Like, even just looking at the names of these websites, BigTimeSlotGames.com, MyJackpot, and Happy Bets. Anyone can pay for this position here, and it can be viruses. It's happened many, many times.
The richest players got together to make huge casinos, where they would sell dealership position to players, which would then be removed if the dealer were to scam someone. Gold dealership would, for example, cost 600 coins, which would give the player sort of an insurance that he's okay to take a bet up to 600 coins. But just like in real life, the richest players were the last people you should trust. Every month or 2 we would close down casinos and drive the gambling community towards our new casino, hosted under a different name, to keep selling dealership positions over and over. This gold badge has 486 members. 486 members paying 600 coins is 291,600 coins. If 1,000 is $70, then that gives us $20,000. Imagine doing that a few times.
Not bad.
Another way to earn was the Banzai teleport scam. This item will randomly teleport you to any other Banzai teleports in the room. Here I have my teleports. I placed 4 gold coins, which is worth 10 coins. I placed 1 silver coin, which is worth 5 coins. And the rest of
DMCA? Why would this be DMCA? It's just the instrumental track. People keep saying DMCA. I can't imagine that the instrumental would be a problem. Right?
The them are empty. 1 go costs 5 coins. In theory, landing on each one would take me 9 attempts.
Thanks, Dark Trio.
This would be 45 coins, and there are 45 coins placed on the teleports, so that will give this game a 50% win ratio. After 10 attempts I won 60 coins. But what not everyone knows is that you can stack multiple teleports on top of each other. After placing a few more teleports on the empty slots, your odds starts to look a lot worse. There are also what we call coin grabbers. These are basically a visual scam, a real sucker's bet if you will. What you would do is roll 2 dices, and the dices would act like coordinates. So 3 plus 3 would be a win, but rolling 4 or above on either dice is a loss. Kids would view this as only half the numbers have gone, but in reality only 9 out of 36 possible outcomes is a win. In Habbo there are
These are good scams. Holy shit.
In the Warcraft 3 editor, if you are familiar with it. So for example, by using figures, user walks on Fernie, and effect, teleport to Fernie. I can create a teleport. With words I managed to create a functional card deck inside Habbo. Blue 10s are kings, yellow 10s are queens, green 10s are jacks, and blue 1s are aces. Using this I hosted a blackjack table. The left lever pulls a card, while the right one resets them all. So basically I draw 1 for player, 1 for myself, and another 1 for the player. Let's say player sticks at 15. I draw a second card.
This is so fucking deep! Jesus Christ!
But my blackjack table had a catch. I added chat commands using Swedish letters to draw myself 10 and ace on demand, and chat commands are only visible to the user.
Oh, that's so
smart. I draw 1 for player, 1 for the dealer, and another 1 for the player. Player sticks at 20. I draw myself ace and house wins. This blackjack table was originally introduced on Habbo by me, and boy was
we've got a pioneer here.
These are just a few examples of ways we got rich on Habbo. There was a lot of money to be made selling the profits on forums and playerauctions.com. But you don't need to take my word for it. Take the famous Playerfish for example, who quit Habbo in 2013. After selling all his belongings he ended up with $55,000, and he was by no means the richest player on Habbo. You might think what we did was immoral, but honestly everyone else was out to scam you on Habbo anyway, and we were just kids. If you think RuneScape had a large amount of scammers and lurers, you don't even know the half of it. If anything, this game taught me valuable life lessons. I learned to barter, I learned many of the red flags of someone trying to trick you, and I learned to never gamble. Because remember kids, the house always wins. Now you're probably asking
this is crazy.
If you can still do this today 2018. I'm sorry to disappoint, but this was not meant to be a tutorial, but rather a trip down memory lane. Gambling was banned back in 2014, so Habbo could get a child-friendly rating on the App Store. There is still gambling going on, but the scene is really dead, and all the gamblers are
really dead. Look at her busting it out.
Banned, so there is a
fucking
high
going
risk
wild.
of getting stabbed. Habbo is 18 years old, and on its last legs anyway. Unless you're Brazilian. The Brazilian server is bigger than the international one nowadays for some reason. Earlier this year 60% of Sulart's shares got sold to Orange Games. And they also released a new game called Hotel Hideaway, so the end is near. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Farewell.
That was so fucking cool. I had no idea about any of this shit. Habbo seems awesome. Holy lord. I can't believe I never got scammed on Habbo. I never cared about coins or anything, because to me, like I said, to me and my friends, it was just going on there to mess with people. I wish I got into it though. I always got scammed on RuneScape and scammed on RuneScape. I remember a buddy of mine on RuneScape, I already told this, buddy of mine on RuneScape used to do a lot of trade scams back when you could do that, swapping armor out. Used to make so much off that. Nowadays, are there any modern games where scams are prevalent? I feel like no one scams anymore.
Lucky I came by.
Like, does New World have any scams?
I'm Epi.
Well, I've already seen the pool's closed from Internet
my friends call
Historian.
me Epi.
Pool's closed is
Not that I have
Internet
friends,
History.
necessarily.
I'm
Roblox?
Cassandra.
Sure.
Roblox
You
has,
have the
oh,
look of
Roblox
someone
probably has a lot
used to
of scams,
being out in
actually,
the
now that I
world.
think about it.
You have the look of someone who
Called crypto now.
spends a lot of time reading.
Games.
I don't look like much.
People are
it's
begging
true.
to be scammed like
But when
every
discovery
day in
knocks,
the real world. I'm
what
talking
other
about
choice
like
is
games.
there? I have in my possession A Mycenaean tablet.
EVE
that leads
Online
to a
always has some
secret
incredible
burial
stuff.
site.
Yeah, EVE,
I'm calling it
Roblox.
the Cave of
I don't
the
know why
Oracle.
people are mentioning
Good for
Rocket
you.
League. What scams exist in Rocket League?
Mycenaeans were known
How
for
can a
their
player scam
elaborate
you there?
grave sites full
Like
of
selling their
precious
account or
things.
something? Thanks to get
How
some Queen of
precious?
Games.
Ancient jewelry, ceremonial swords and
Oh,
daggers.
CSGO.
So,
CSGO definitely
very
has a
precious.
fair
If you
share of
escort me,
scams with
I'll
like
show you.
lottery sites and all that. Item trading. Okay, so there's still a few.
How can I turn down the promise of precious things?
Okay, now let's watch this one.
The
Actually,
fates
let me
have
fill up my
delivered
water before
you
we do this
onto
one.
my
This one's
path.
50 minutes.
Thus we travel together.
But I'm too deep now. I've got to see financial crime from Habbo. I'm already like an
Defense have
hour
been
into
known to have a
Habbo
sense of
research.
humor.
I'm expecting the
Happening
cartel
upon
to be
you, hero,
operating some
is
kind of business
fortuitous.
here now.
Glad to hear it.
So yeah, I'm
So,
excited.
you dig
Just give me
through
one second,
Bookro?
though.
Well, yes and no. I dig through dirt too.
That's what farmers do.
I uncover our history. Sometimes.
Let's go. Off we go now. Ella.
Things are so mortified. In the prime of the maniac.
Habbo Hotel
He's a prime Momo kid.
primarily as teenagers. The game allows you to explore rooms,
Thanks,
custom
Risa.
other players,
Vinegar
and
chips.
make your own creations. Most
Thanks, man.
importantly, it allows you to as Habbo's organization was purchase of virtual coins, it is in Habbo's interest to generate cash with a currency. And over the past 20 years, Habbo has meticulously crafted an ultra-consumerist environment to facilitate this.
Hey, what the fuck is this? The prices have gone up. We checked earlier. It was 630 credits for 75 bucks. What kind of nonsense is this?
What happens when people get fed up of waiting
Thanks for
in
your sub,
line for
Trizo.
rent queues, working in drab corporate jobs, or selling their personal details away in dodgy survey sites? Well, they turn to crime. Over the past 6 months,
naturally.
I've talked to dozens of players
Habo
on
criminals.
the topic of financial crime, logging over 200 pages of interview transcripts, reading the relevant academic literature on the topic, and even catching people in the act. In this video essay, I will explore how
This is
financial
so thorough.
crime has evolved over time, how Habo chooses to
Dude's like the
respond,
Batman of Habo Hotel.
and finally give you a personal note. I hope you enjoy.
He's a tier 1 assassin in the resub dino. The bit scrub lord.
Back in the early 2000s, the internet was the new frontier of technology, and being new and unfamiliar, it was
There's Risa
basically
Brook.
the Wild West. Habbo Hotel was a game birthed during this era, and being an innovative new game, it was rather broken. Scripters were players who basically hacked the game using exploits. They manipulated code within the game. While some scripters did it merely for fun, such as allowing themselves to decorate their rooms better, others decided to give themselves endless amounts of
Whoa, what the fuck is this?
This was also a time
That actually
when
is a cult.
internet security was a
Nice.
of a thing. For example, it has been alleged that one of the richest players in UK Habbo obtained their wealth through one of the largest hacking conspiracies in the game's history. I would like to point out that I was unable to cross-reference this claim. I'd like to tell you the story anyway, as it helps illustrate that point. Back in 2002, Ione, who was serving as the UK's
Hey,
hotel
Ione.
manager, gave each player who logged in during her birthday a special gift. Each gift contained one of 3 items: a throne, a Russian samovar, or a hollowboy.
Wow,
Collectively,
nice goodie bag.
These items would be known as the Ione gifts, and they would end up being highly sought after. The throne, in particular, would
Why?
continue to dominate the market for generations, and its contemporary value sits around 600 coins.
Why was she
or
so
around
special?
$48 at black market rates. Now, let's move forward to 2006. The player made a realization. Most of the recipients of the Ione gifts, the players of 2001 and 2002, were most likely to have moved on from Habbo and would have left their accounts abandoned 4 years later. And so, allegedly, they began to conduct brute force attacks against vast swathes of abandoned accounts, helpfully aided by Habbo itself, which decides to publicly display when users have last logged in. These brute forcing attempts were also helped by the fact that back in the day, there were no password requirements. As such, someone could literally set their password as 123456 or password. And in the age where internet security wasn't as prevalent, this against what was set password as. By spamming thousands of username and password
That's
combinations,
nuts.
they were able to crack account after account.
Ready for sale!
Okay, okay.
Good to have you back, Commander.
And
Shitty password.
enterprising hacker that they were, they didn't let the hacked accounts go to waste. Some of these accounts had so
Slow!
usernames which were highly sought after, and players were willing to pay a lot.
Let's do some German first.
Claimed
Give some
that
PO.
so popular that they had to subcontract their work to others.
We've reached open water.
Old-fashioned hacking has been
Get the
found
oars ready! Rowers! Go! Blaze on!
There were clearly successful attempts, such as in 2017,
2017?
which allowed them to generate millions of coins. But these hacks against Habbo itself became rarer, so criminals
Holy
such as
shit.
another could earn
He's on the front lines of controversy.
and their desire to
Crime.
continue virtual currency. Scams have been ubiquitous in the world of Habbo. Being scammed is such a great experience of Habbo that it acts almost like
Ready yours!
I never got.
Enemies here, Commander.
I didn't get the full experience.
Habbo has an entire page cataloging the common scams on their website, but this video would be a lot longer if we tried to cover every single scam. Back when people still logged in with their usernames, password scams were fairly common. For example, a scammer might
This is
say,
tier
"Oh
one.
look, Habbo
Jules.
senses your password." The victim would
That was a
then
RuneScape
type
scam.
their password.
Did it come from
The
Habbo?
scammer would log into the victim's account and change their login details. If the scammer
I don't think it ever
they
worked,
could tell
though.
the victim to type their password and press Ctrl M instead. In the past, Ctrl M acted the same way as the Enter button. Habbo has now since patched this. Another low-effort scam involved the scammer claiming
I don't think that
they had
ever
special
fucking worked.
hacking tools to duplicate
I refuse to
furniture
believe
or
anyone was that dumb,
All the victim
even as a
had to
kid.
do was hand over their coins to the scammer. Then the scammer runs away with the money. This scam happened so often, a counter-scam was developed where someone would pretend to be a skeptical yet naive victim. The victim would claim that they were going to give one coin to the scammer as a test to see whether the scammer is legit. If the scammer could double the victim's money, they would hand over a larger sum.
This is all RuneScape
Setting
scams.
blood in the water, the scammer would pretend to double the victim's money and hand over 2 coins. The victim would then run away. As time moved on,
Oh
players
my
generally
God.
became more clued up to these
Corinth.
low-effort scams.
A city of
The
pods,
decline of these
prostitutes,
low-effort scams were also
and
used
not
Use of
much
Clayton.
by moderators. They existed back then, who would ban anyone who tried to claim that they could duplicate furniture or coins. And so, scams became more sophisticated. Falling Furniture FF is a game hosted on Habbo, and it's sort of like musical chairs. The host would place
This game
down
looks
chairs
fucking
and people
lit.
would rush to sit on them.
You just go and
The
sit on a
last
toilet
remaining
seat.
person to not get a seat gets eliminated from the round, and the cycle repeats until a winner is produced. In the past, hosts would ask the loser whether they wish to pay to stay, pay for revenge, or leave the game.
Pay for
This
revenge?
choice is commonly referred to as P2S,
What is that?
Rev, or Kick. Pay to stay allows the player to
What
stay in the
revenge? They
game
get to like
and face
execute someone?
new people that round. Usually the cost of pay to stay is from coin or furniture equivalents. Revenge, on the other hand, allows the player to pick someone else to lose that round. This bizarre mechanic
What?
essentially meant that any player could effectively pay to kick a player they did not like, because it was a much more powerful option.
That's
The
genius.
price of revenge
Actually
is
genius.
usually higher, around 2 to 3 coins. Now here's the catch. When someone is a victim of revenge, they don't immediately get kicked out. Instead, they're given a choice to pay to stay, pay for revenge, or to leave the game.
This is so smart.
The phenomenon of revenge.
Kids would absolutely do that out of spite.
Battle it out by revving each other. And by revving each other, I mean one person pays the host coins, and then the other pays the host coins, and then you're starting to see how it's profitable revving. Scammers, however, began exploiting this business
Thanks for
model.
some boop and
Here's
Twitch
how you do
Ninja.
it. Step 1. Hire a scamming buddy. This person will be your partner in
Oh,
crime.
that'll do it too,
If
bro.
you're
Thanks for you
proficient
so
enough
busy.
to play with 2 accounts at once, you could also use a multi-account. Step 2. Advertise a lavish game. If you want to pull people in, you want to make sure that you have a large prize. The larger the prize, more willing people will be to spend money on
I
P2S
need to
and
be
Rev
careful
for a
around
chance
here.
to win the prize. Step 3. Make your partner the winner. If your partner is the winner, you can pretend to give them a prize without actually giving them anything. It would give the illusion that you are a trustworthy host and you're able to bag any P2S and Rev money as profit. But how do you reach this stage? Well, if your partner ends up losing a round, they can just Rev someone. They don't actually have to pay you anything, they only pretend to pay you something. If they choose a particularly wealthy victim, they can even start a Rev war. A Rev war that your partner
That's
can't
so
possibly lose.
smart. What? I'm blown away right now. An actual revenge loop, and then a scam on top of the scam where you get someone to go in with you that pretends to be like revving a rich player, so that way the rich player revs them back, and it just goes on and on and on until the rich player runs out of money, and you just say that your friend won. Genius. How? No way kids came up with this. This was absolutely the work of like fucking Bernie Madoff or something. Like he was in here running Habbo scams. Like there's just no like the fucking penguin from Gotham was in this bitch. Like this is so actually smart. And also to the person, I saw you mention that you lost your account because you gave someone your password on RuneScape. I did the same shit, kind of. When I was a kid, I had an account called Strong Wolfo. It was my main on RuneScape, or like one of my 5 mains back then. And my password was Wolfo. And one guy was teasing me. He's like, "I bet your password's fucking weak." And I'm like, "No, it's actually really strong. I got a really cool password." He's like, "No, you fucking don't." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Oh, well, what is it?" And I was like, "It's Wolfo." There goes the account. Yeah, so I definitely would have fallen for scams 100%. But the one that I always knew I would never do is like the Jagex censors your password. I never thought anyone would fall for that.
At the end of the day, you count up your profits and split half to your partner in crime. Or you could just ban them and keep all of the profits. Pay-to-stay scams in their day were one of the most lucrative scams on Habbo, and arguably the key to its success was the fact that it was much more sophisticated. Unlike the I can double your money or give me your password scams,
What you fell for is worse. Yeah, it was. I agree. I got the account back. I didn't lose it forever, but that did give me a scare.
Which altogether led to many of the pay-to-stay scams dealt with. In the end, pay-to-stay as a concept phased out. It is commonly believed that pay-to-stay is now a banned practice in Habbo, something that also followed the gambling ban back in 2014, but I was unable to verify that this was true. On the contrary, according to the official Habbo publication, pay-to-stay rev is secretly allowed. Whatever the case, it's not a simple connotation of being an outright scam that makes it no
A note. Written by Mr. Cleese. Who knew the great general was also born?
Habbo's economy is very reliant on merchanting, which is the practice of buying furniture at a low price and selling that furniture at a higher price for profit.
Big in
Habbo's
RuneScape too.
spend
So
hours
much
on
similarity.
end at their shops waiting for customers to buy their goods, and then spend more hours scouring other shops owned by other Habbos to buy more items.
Thanks, Reese. Hey, Carl.
Then they would
Good to
sell
see you, man.
those
Hope you're doing well.
acquired items at a markup to get more money. To
Thanks
buy
for the
more
resub.
items to sell. What was I even doing with my money? The fake buyer scam specifically targeted merchants, and this is how it's done. Step 1. Obtain furniture. These pieces of furniture must be disposed of.
Fucking banging furniture in here.
A piece of
Santa's sleigh.
that most people will not have, and one that is cheap for you to buy. An example furniture that you could use for this scam are these red pixel furnitures. Most new players haven't seen it before, and if you know where to look for it, you can easily buy 10 for 1 coin. Step 2. Get yourself an alt account. You could also employ a scamming partner, but it's completely unnecessary, and also you banned them. Step 3. Enter the shop with your alt account. This is the fake buyer. Pretend to browse around with your alt account, maybe make some small talk with the shop owner. If you're feeling daring, you could even try and buy something to establish a relationship. Step 4. Plant the seed. Ah yes, I was wondering
So
if you
thorough.
had
This is
red
so
pixel
thorough.
furniture by any chance. Chances are, if the shop owner did not display the red furniture in their shop, they probably wouldn't. Ah, I
20
should be
coins
extra
for
careful.
information?
If you find any red furniture, please contact me as soon as possible. You add them to your friend list and then mention something along the lines of, I'm willing to pay 20 coins for every piece of red furniture that you have. Now, in their head, they'll be actively on the lookout for the stealing red furniture.
And they'll go to your friend's shop or your main account. Oh, actually, yeah, you just bring the account there. Oh, fuck, yeah, that makes sense. It's at the middleman.
Tell the owner that you're selling rare items like, oh, I don't know, this red pixel furniture that you just so happen to have. By offering to sell it at a much lower price than what the fake buyer is offering, like 10 coins, you create an almost irresistible opportunity.
Genius! Fucking genius! These are the smartest kids in the world! God damn!
The emergence of these more sophisticated and complex scams
Little
show
baby
the
geniuses out here.
art of scamming and an evolution of financial crime as a whole. As the players of Habbo get progressively smarter and more informed about scams, scam artists find themselves having to resort to greater lengths to depart you from your money. But scams aren't the only forms of financial crime on Habbo Hotel. With corporations playing an increasingly larger role in Habbo over the past few years, some players have spotted a new opportunity on the horizon.
Corporate corruption.
In
Jesus
November
Christ.
2017, CES, also known as May,
I'm excited.
to the highest office of the Habbo White House.
Turns out, like, Nintendo's got a sect in here scamming kids.
The organization's history, as she became the White House's first female president. Meanwhile, Fernum, also known as Craig, was packing his bags. Having served his 2-month term, he was now the outgoing president
This war is wild.
Of 14 previous presidents, it bore responsibility to pass the keys of the presidency to his successor. This democratic transition of power is the cornerstone of the Habbo White House.
Here's a tier 1 McMuffin.
Or corporations hold elections for their highest office. And so, as the keys of power were being handed over, a fact transpired. The treasury account was empty. Most corporations had a special treasury account. Any donations or profits earned from sales would be stored in this account. Treasury accounts meant that multiple trusted people could do transactions with the organization.
Your fucking secret agent assassin bodyguard sleeping on the job. Fire him.
It led to the problem of $400 worth of coins being embezzled from the treasury with no obvious culprit. An inquiry was quickly held and soon fingers pointed at both Cess and Infernum. The heist was done in perfect timing. The transition period between presidencies meant that both Cess and Infernum had access to the treasury at the same time. The inquiry went cold and the culprit was never found. The rise in corporate crime is a more recent phenomenon.
This oracle gives better
As
news than the one
corporations
in
take on a more significant role in the day-to-day lives of players, they present greater and more audacious opportunities for any would-be criminals.
What do they do? I don't understand. Like, what do the corporations do? This actually just looks like some Heaven's Gate shit. Like, everyone's glowing over here, like they're about to go Super Saiyan. Beastly tuxedos talking about Sugar Mama Lauren, like, and here's the dog. What do the corporations actually accomplish in the game? How are they generating money? We saw in the last video he did that they make money by hiring people to boss people around, so they literally get people to pay for a power trip. But he's saying corporations play a role in the day-to-day activities of the community, and I don't really see how. From everything we've learned about the corporations so far in the last 3 videos.
Exploit. As for our story, the Habbo White House learned its lesson and reformed the treasury to prevent future presidents from embezzling funds. One of these reforms was to put the hands of the treasury account to one
Mistios, well, aren't you a sight to my age, Dice?
Oh my god.
Young, energetic. Perhaps I should just pay for your body instead of your health.
With these reforms in place, the White House had to start over, and
All
through
things
donation
get better
drives and
with
sales,
age, don't
they
they?
managed to rebuild
Even
the
you.
treasury.
The
All in
Oracle
all,
said
they
that if I'm
managed
to live a
reaccumulate
long and happy life, I need to
$450
stay
worth of
young
coins and
at
rares.
heart.
And these
But I
treasury
mustn't
reforms
lose
ended up
focus.
working.
I need your help more than
For
your
1 year, when in
magnificent
2018,
body.
a trustee
glad to
called
hear it.
Jess
Korigos, my
entire
husband, is having
Oh.
some difficulties keeping up with my
She
hunger
looks like a
for
pirate. Like, why? What was the hiring process like here? I could tell you if I was on the board of trustees and I was betting for the next person to handle my treasury in Habbo, I would not pick this person. They look like a fucking criminal. 100%. We're talking big fucking bucks here. Some huge noodles. I'm not gonna risk it with someone who comes in here with a goddamn eye patch. It's unreal, unreal. It's like they didn't even try.
I'm feistier now than I've ever been.
The Habbo
What does
Mafia,
this have
huh?
to do with me?
Sounds about right.
I've learned of a powerful elixir, which if consumed will give someone the vigor and stamina of Eros. If you can gather me the...
A high-ranking official
I
of one
have
of Habbo's
hope.
largest
Don't
corporations eventually decided to talk
I'll
to
be
me
back.
under the strict condition of anonymity. In our interview, they made explosive allegations against their corporate founder. They claimed the founder would regularly use the treasury as their personal bank account, withdrawing thousands of coins at a time to sell on the black market to quote-unquote fuel their clubbing habit. In fact, the embezzlement of corporate funds was done so frequently, the board of directors actively fabricate numbers in their spreadsheet and
They have a spreadsheet? A Habbo Hotel Corporation treasury spreadsheet of their coins to in-game dollars. And they also have an accountant cooking the books.
Do people pay mercenaries here more than
There's
they did in
no
Kefalani?
way these are real numbers, right? From Habbo Hotel coins? Like, this can't be fucking right.
Everyone pays
$236,000
more
US
than
dollars for
Marcos.
Habbo Hotel
You're
coins?
lucky I took all his crazy
I must be
contacts.
misunderstanding this, I think.
I was a fast learner. He's a rotten cheat.
There's no fucking
I only
way.
accept the easy stuff now.
Yeah, is there a
I'm working
Habbo
as a
Hotel
watchman this
IRS?
very moment. A cushy job. Most days.
Thank you, Tier 1, Mr. Toxic,
Once
and
a
the Prime
mercenary,
Gab, never
always
said
a
Jam,
mercenary.
and the Prime Resi.
It's a job you can never shake off.
I helped
Right
run
you
the
are.
biggest underground
I'm
casino in
learning that
Habbo. If you
all
want
the
some
more
solid information, hit me
Trouble
up, brother.
goes and
Yeah, what
comes
were you
back
pulling in
twice.
monthly? Like, I
Did
imagine
something
if these
happen?
are these like actual sensible numbers that people were making from Habbo Hotel coins and selling them?
They took the sapphires offered by a
Or is this just
Thracian
like,
king.
if they sold them, what the total could be, like under ideal circumstances? Like, how often were you able to flip coins in Habbo Hotel to actual USD? I can't imagine it was a booming market where everyone was buying all the time.
And I'll pay you much better than you're used to in Kefalon.
Like, I don't know, this doesn't, there's no way, these numbers have to be, I have to go start understanding these.
I haven't forgotten the old days. I owe you one, Photius. No reward necessary.
In another claim, one of the founder's deputies managed to achieve
I
their
thought I
highest
was
by
getting
regularly
soft.
sending gifts to the founder.
Shouldn't be long.
Over the course of a few years, an estimated total of $3,000 worth of gifts were given by this deputy.
That's
This
all?
deputy is the second
Compared to what we just saw?
official of the corporation. And, in order to dominate the market further, the founder was even alleged to have tried to create a second corporation. Pouring thousands of coins worth of investment into it, their intention was to monopolize the entire agency
Seems to be some chill.
by falsifying the conclusion of choice. Workers of said corporation would think that they were working for a rival company, when in fact it was staffed by the same administration, just with alt accounts. If successful, the founder would operate two profitable corporations, doubling their intake.
Holy
10
shit.
people showed up to its
So
opening
smart.
ceremony, and the project was scrapped 3 weeks later.
Oh.
When I asked
Unfortunately
another
not smart.
high-ranking official of the same corporation to comment on these allegations, they disputed the claims. The founder does not take money from us unless necessary, said the official. They insisted that revenue earned was reinvested back into the corporation.
Yeah, it's crazy,
A
K-Mon.
dig into the company's finances revealed that in 2019, the company's annual turnover was approximately 300,000 credits. That is equivalent to $20,000 US.
Okay, I think this helped illustrate it.
This
This
must
is
be
not
the cave Photius
US
mentioned.
dollars that
Those
they're pulling
priests
in,
came
it's
this way.
coins. Okay, that makes so much more sense. It's still a lot of money, obviously, as evident here. But it's coins, not 200 fucking, what was it, 254,000 US dollars. 254,000 coins.
Sold at black market rates. A vast majority of the corporation's revenue came from rank sales, which is where
Thanks to give some
employees
Tinder.
pay to get a higher rank. Other streams of revenue include selling VIP and special visitor passes, which give privileges to rich people that can afford them. Of that revenue, approximately 70% was spent on wages, totaling up to $16,800 worth of coins. The high-ranking officials that I was talking to also get a slice in the form of commission when they successfully make a sale. On average,
What the fuck is Habbo Hotel?
1,000 credits annually.
I never experienced any of this. It's incredible.
Angelic was no stranger to scandals. She lost all of her furniture and properties. In total, she bought over $130 worth of virtual goods legitimately on Habbo Hotel.
Oh, you idiot.
When she
Going
tried to
legit in
contact
Habbo?
to help, Habbo simply told her that she couldn't recover her stolen items that she paid for. This is in line with Habbo's policy and terms of service. Habbo defines their virtual currency and goods not as property but as part of the gameplay experience. Or, as Habbo puts it, you have no interest, including no property, proprietary, intellectual property, ownership or monetary interests in virtual currency and virtual goods, which remain our content and property.
Very hardline
This effectively
stance.
means that you don't enjoy the same protections with virtual property as you do with real property, because under the Habbo terms of service, your coins and your furniture aren't really your property. They belong to Habbo, and Habbo could theoretically do whatever it wants.
This must be the cave
question of
Photius
whether these
mentioned.
terms of service
That's
are
Those
nuts,
priests
Bart.
came this way.
is a rather murky
Maybe
question.
throw in Creek and the Reese of Elijah.
But internationally, there is a trend where countries are beginning to recognize that virtual property deserves the same protection. In one notable case in 2003, hackers gained access to a player's account and stole $1,200 worth of virtual items. A Beijing court found Optic Ice, the developers of the game, liable for the loss suffered by the player and was forced to reimburse the lost property.
That's
In
great.
that case, game publishers argued that virtual items are merely a pile of data and could not constitute the thing that was stolen under Chinese law. The rejection of this interpretation led China to become one of the first countries to recognize that virtual property is entitled to the same legal protection as other forms of property. Furthermore, Optic Ice also argued that the player agreed to return
X-Man.